This Peter Pan story keeps developing in ways that I truly never would have expected, such as now, the actual actor for Peter Pan that has been seen in so many of Tony's videos has genuinely come out and spoken out, and I don't mean like a fake one or a misunderstood one like the last video, I mean the actual bona fide Peter Pan from a lot of those videos. However, on top of that, one of Peter Pan's cousins has allegedly come out and spoken about this too. There's a whole lot more that's happened, and we're gonna get into all of that today, but before we do, be sure to subscribe as always, of course. Slap a like on this video too, I don't ask that too often. But yeah, go for it. Without further ado though, I just want to get straight into this response video that Peter Pan himself has put out. I don't know his real name, so I'm calling him, like his name's actual, I think his name's Dylan. I mean, I'm no, Sherlock Holmes here, but judging from the fact that his TikTok is literally called Dylan, that's, just an educated guess. Thank God you guys have me here, right? Your favorite commentary YouTuber. What would you do without me? You'd never know his name. He's only got 3 videos, so it seems as though he's done this specifically so that he could like come out and talk about this story in the way that he is about to. We'll start with his first TikTok, I guess. This one's from 2021, so he did, I guess he didn't start the TikTok just to talk about this, but he's reinstated it. He's returned just to talk about Tony. And when you watch the actual response, because I have seen it, I think it was a very well-meaning, I think it was great that he put the video out. He dispels a lot of the myths that people have been sort of lambasting Tony with, and he sort of reminds people that at the end of the day, it's not as deep as a lot of people are making it out to be. That doesn't stop the comment. There's comments on the video are an absolute cesspit, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. As you can see from his first video here, he himself is a big fan of Disney, so this is a thing that we forget too. A lot of the Disney characters that work there are also Disney adults in some way, shape, or form, but they're just not weird about it. Like, they're Disney adults in the moral or ethical or, like, enjoyable way, where they just, they genuinely love the company. Maybe not morally. I'm sure a lot of them are very aware of how evil Disney is and hate how much they get paid and stuff, but they love the movies and the art and have a lot of nostalgia for it, sure. Much like me and a lot of people watching this video. He put a second video out, however, 2 days ago, where he says, sitting down for my Netflix documentary to discuss the Peter Pan drama. And there's a lot of people in the comments talking about how they actually met this guy at Disneyland. It's really wholesome to see. This is his picture here as well, by the way, his official one from work. And then here's him with Tony. Anyway, let's have a look at his official response, shall we?
All right. Hi, everyone. It's me. From the many videos that have been going around on TikTok, I flew with Peter in Disneyland from 2014 to 2021. And yes, I had many interactions with Tony. So, as you can see in the video, Tony's behavior did make me feel a little awkward and uncomfortable, but at no point did it cross any boundaries of what a character interaction should look like.
Yeah, this is the thing that I said in my original video and the last one as well. People were having to sort of go at me for questioning whether or not stalking was like an appropriate term to be used here at all, because a lot of people were accusing her of stalking in that initial video, and my response was, it's weird, it's creepy, I understand that they're clearly uncomfortable at points, but to call it stalking is a massive over-exaggeration. Like, you'll see later on in this video, there's like actual cases of assault and harassment that are being compared to the way that Tony is interacting with the Peter Pan characters. The most offensive thing about Tony, potentially, in my opinion, is like the consistency of it, right? How often it is. And then how long she like lingers around when other people clearly want to have their turn, right? But to call that stalking, in my opinion, is incredibly disrespectful to the term stalking. Because again, unlike all the rumors that are coming out from so many people who either don't do any research or just don't care about potentially spreading misinformation, she hasn't done anything outside of Disneyland. She's not waited for the actors to come out in their normal non-work uniform. She's not done anything. She's not put any air tags in the crochet dolls. She's not got anyone fired. She's not been banned herself. Baby Tony and like actual legal stalking should not be used in the same sentence unless you are denying the accusation.
She was very enthusiastic about meeting the character, maybe a little more so than most, but it never crossed the boundary of trying to get to know the performer. And so we need to end the discourse and the harassment and the online toxicity that is being aimed at her. She's doing nothing wrong. She's acting within all the guidelines of what a guest should do at Disneyland. It's a little extra and a little more than most, but she's within her right to do so. And the best thing that you can do with personalities that are a little extra is cut off their supply to attention. So stop the likes, stop the comments, and stop the sharing.
Yeah, you know what? He's bang on. I completely, like, there's nothing I disagree with him there at all. I disagree that she's not doing anything wrong, though. Like, if the actors, even yourself admitted you felt uncomfortable, you felt a little weirded out by the interactions, that means that fundamentally she is doing something wrong. Because if you are consistently making somebody uncomfortable week on week, you are doing something wrong. Now, where my opinion differs from a lot of people is I don't blame Tony for doing these things. I don't blame Tony for getting these things wrong. She clearly doesn't know any better. And the way that people are treating her as though she's this intentionally malicious stalker slash harassmental type person who is going out of her way to creep on these people kind of disgust me a little bit. I got a lot of people in my last video sort of criticizing me for armchair diagnosing her, sort of calling me a hypocrite because I was calling other people uneducated and making assumptions when I myself was doing it in the video, in my last video. However, like, I really disagree. I think I'll kind of die on this hill. Sometimes you can just tell if someone's got something wrong with them, or someone's abnormal is a better way of putting it. Atypical, I guess. If someone has like a neurodivergence issue or a learning disability or something along those lines that makes them atypical or makes them more prone to not understanding or not being able to realize when they're making someone uncomfortable. And I think that Tony clearly has something, I don't know exactly what, but she clearly has something that makes it incredibly difficult, near impossible, for her to notice when she is making people uncomfortable, when she is overstaying her welcome. And it's very difficult for me to blame her for that and not the people who are encouraging her. And what's more, I think a lot of the people who are in such denial about armchair diagnosing her or making the claim that there's something wrong or something not typical, I guess, are only saying that so they have more of an excuse to be horrible people and just bully her all the time. Because if they were forced to contend with the fact that she might have like severe autism or some other kind of learning disability, they'd feel worse about lambasting her. So they have to convince themselves, no, it's not real, there's nothing wrong with her, she's just a massive creep. I know autism isn't a learning disability, by the way, just to be clear. I'm using it more in the sense of like and/or.
And so I know you're here looking for tea, and so I do have a story about another stalker that is not Tony, that did cross the boundary. So one day while I was performing in Disneyland, I had a guest that had come up to me many times a day, came up to me and she described my dog to me in very specific detail. And I was completely private on all of my social media accounts, so I am quite unsure as to where she got these details. Very shortly after, I found her waiting at the cast member parking lot for me. For about a month, she was there every shift.
That's insane. So are we getting like, did she follow him home, or did she know someone in his life maybe and is getting some sort of insider information there? Is she like a friend of a friend, or a friend of a friend of a friend, or like a cousin of a friend or something like that? Or is she actually just like straight up textbook stalker following him around type shit? Because this is unhinged.
And she never spoke to me. She kind of just watched and stared, which definitely did not make me feel safe. And then the straw that really broke the camel's back for me was my family came to visit me, which is always really endearing. And she somehow figured out who my family was and decided to follow them around in the park for a day. Now that is an example of harassment, because that guest was trying to get to know the performer and not the character. And so as a result of all of these somewhat negative interactions, I started to play games with kids instead of doing the traditional meet and greet format. And so I got to make amazing memories playing hide and seek. And
I'd love to know what happened. I'd love to know, did he report her? And if he did report her, did Disneyland do anything about it? Was it just sort of allowed to happen? I'd love to know. I hope this guy does a follow-up answering like some questions regarding this all.
And so again, what I say to you all, TikTok, is we need to end the negative discourse and cut off the supply to attention. This conversation of what is harassment between a character and a guest is not between any of us. It's between the performer, the company, and the guest. And to Tony, they're men in tights.
Yeah, okay. This is a great video, man. I really do respect the fact that he made this, and we'll have a look at some actual examples of like real harassment later on in this video, of course, because I want to show you guys just how insane the comparison is between Tony and like actual harassers or stalkers. Worst case, a lot of like actual assaulters as well. But yeah, the comments to this are horrible in my opinion. The first one I'm seeing here is Stockholm Syndrome, which I think is just so tone deaf, because what you call Stockholm Syndrome, I call just a bloke being mature, like a bloke not being insane. Look at this, but this is the worst comment ever. Oh, this is not what I wanted. Bye. You people are horrible. Like, you're actually horrible people. You need to do like actual soul searching. On my life, you need therapy. Like, you need to relax. This is not what I wanted. Bye. It's such a, how do you even type that comment out and not realize halfway through typing it, oh shit, I'm being a disgusting arsehole right now. No, this video wasn't relentless fucking bullying towards this clearly mentally challenged girl. I'm clicking off this. I don't give a fuck if you're the one who was personally affected by her. I tell you how to feel. I clicked on this video wanting an excuse to dogpile on this woman even more so than she's already getting, and it definitely can't be affecting her positively, can it? Fucking horrible, horrible comment. Honestly, I hate the internet sometimes. It's like, yeah, sorry, the story in your head that you created out of thin air wasn't real, and you just wanted an excuse to bully and harass a girl and sip some juicy tea, I guess. Get over it. Maybe stop acting as though you actually care about people's safeties in the future as well, as opposed to just, I don't know, a fun story for you to laugh at. Look at this comment. It's actual, like, it's deranged behavior. He made it seem like it's gonna be something we expect in the previous video, like, where's the tea you promised to share with us? Now I know that Tony still has power over this former Peter Pans too. What power do you why are you talking about Tony as though she's Walter White? What power do you think she has over any of the Peter Pans, let alone this one, who's not been in the job for like half a decade now? Honestly, these parasocial freaks are insane. I don't know why they're scared to talk and say the truth about her. They're not. There's nothing scary about Tony. It's like they're all trying to gaslight this guy into feeling as though he was fucking assaulted by her, so they have an excuse to just bully her more. Like, who cares if you didn't get what you want? He is talking about his experience. Surely Tony hugging the actors when they don't consent / look uncomfortable crosses boundaries. Yeah, I agree. And he does make it clear that he was made uncomfortable and he was weirded out by it. He also says Tony did nothing wrong, which I understand. He's trying to sort of derail the hate train. I do think that goes a little bit too far. Because yeah, hugging people and like touching them without their consent is wrong, undoubtedly. Again though, it's just hard to fault her for it too much. Like, you wouldn't fault a guy with Tourette's for ticking, for example, right? They can't help it. Why don't you explain how she made you uncomfortable or awkward? Probably because he's fully aware that you're just gonna use his experience to add to the dog pile that's already gone way too far, in my opinion. Not gonna lie, I was barely paying attention to the video, my bad. Why would you even comment then, you idiot? This is the question that I've got on my mind. Did the company have your back and out safety measures into place when that person started showing up in the cast parking lot? The fact that this only has 1 like and it's like the burning question on in my opinion, it's the most important comment on this whole thread, is really sad to me, actually. Some of the comments here are fascinating. The same people upset about Tony's obsession and not seeing you as a real person with separate thoughts and feelings are the same ones obsessing over you and not seeing you as a real person with your own thoughts and feelings. Yeah, I mean, that's a brilliant comment. They put it spectacularly there. Comments prove that people didn't want to stand up for what's right. They just wanted someone to bully, touch some grass. Absolutely true. So, guests are allowed to make the performers feel uncomfortable, and it's not considered crossing boundaries unless they actually try to know the person behind the character. Not saying she deserves all the harassment, but that wording is a little strange to me in general. Tony aside, like, is that Disney's rules for their performers? Guests are allowed to make you uncomfortable, and that's within the guidelines as long as they don't try to get to know the performer. But in my mind, there's clearly a line there. There's a line that needs to be crossed before it gets to the point of like, okay, I'm a little uncomfortable, but I can bear with it. It's part of the job. It's not that it's not considered crossing boundaries. It's that they've crossed the boundary, but not quite enough to where like there needs to be legal action or like the pursuit of real, I don't know, punishment for the person doing it, if that makes sense. It's like if you work in the service industry, you get a couple of arsehole customers, you just kind of have to deal with it. Obviously, if those arsehole customers are actually harassing you or assaulting you or doing something more than actually needs to be like punishable, then we can have a conversation about that. But I don't think Tony fits into that bill. It's just that there's a difference between being like Tony, who is just over enthusiastic about characters, and people who are actually dangerous towards the characters. Tony isn't necessarily a danger, whereas there are people who have laid hands on the princesses in Gaston. People have gotten kicked out over this. Yeah, it's not a silly conversation. This, like, I definitely understand the point that this commenter is making, and I appreciate that they're actually doing it politely, if that makes sense. Like, it's very clear they actually mean well, and they're not just intending to dogpile or bully a poor woman who's been bullied plenty by now. People thinking he's defending her just because he gives a nuanced take on his experience and how her behavior specifically was uncomfortable for him, but not actual harassment, a crime. Maybe the bigger takeaway should be to call out for Disney for creating environments that don't protect their workers in the first place. It's clear the company puts immersion over the actors' autonomy to protect themselves in uncomfortable situations. Having to choose between your well-being and your job and the fear it creates around setting boundaries with guests is a much bigger issue. There will always be Tonys, but the company could do something about it. True. Like, people are focusing their attention towards the wrong evil here, because there is an issue with harassment in Disneyland, and there is an issue with harassment that doesn't quite meet the criteria of punishable. So it's in between the realms of normal, healthy character interaction and really creepy, punishable character action. So it's like, at a point where you feel a little uncomfortable, you feel a little weirded out, like, I'd rather not be here, but it's not too bad. And that's an awkward space to be in because you don't know exactly what to do. And there is a real conversation there about changing those boundaries and having it so that, you know, people are more protected to feel in that way. However, going after people like Tony isn't what's going to fix that issue. It's talking about Disney themselves, right? The people who control the workers, the upperclassmen, if you will. Those are the ones who can actually implement a change to the system. But it's nowhere near as much fun to bully someone who doesn't respond back or is clearly going through something. There's nowhere near as much blood in the water. It can build up to stalking, unfortunately. Tony has a high chance of this. These are the comments that get the most likes, and it fucking infuriates me, dude. Like, it's just complete pseudo-intellectual, pseudo-scientific bullshit. Like, where's the study that proves that going to Peter Pan... She's been there for 10 years. She's been doing it 10 years, and there hasn't been one case of stalking. When's it gonna happen? Year 20? Is that when it happens, yeah? If you want to look at me and seriously say that baby Tony is gonna potentially be a serious danger and threat to these people's lives and safety via stalking them, actual, like, legally stalking them, I think that you're delusional. The way they're booing you on your own perspective of your own experience, most of these people never cared about advocating for performer safety. They just wanted an excuse to dogpile. Thank you so much for sharing what happened through, and I'm so sorry that you had a stalker. This one has a fair few comments as well, so it's good to know that some people have their heads screwed on. This is the type of video that I really hope Tony actually watches and self-reflects on, because it's hard directly being told, you know, you get a little bit too excited. Like, maybe calm it down a little bit, and there's no issues at all, you know? Because this isn't someone from the comment section, someone that she's never met telling her, someone that she has no respect for telling her that she's doing something wrong. It's an actual character that she's interacted with many times before. And maybe that'll mean more to her if that makes sense. Like, if something's gonna change her behavior, it's this video here. Now, one of the Peter Pan actor's cousins also came out to talk about the whole baby Tony situation. This one's a little interesting because unlike the last one, I don't know how real it is. So you guys can help me out here. Definitely leave me a comment if you think this is like her like an actual cousin. But I'm just confused about like the implications of, is this allowed? Is this gonna get anyone fired? Or is she completely lying? Because you could lie about it.
My name's Amelie. One of those 4 Peter Pans is my cousin.
Ooh, I'm noticing a watermark here. Is the original video deleted? That'd be interesting. Amelie Dobbins. Yes, the original video was deleted. Really interesting. That could mean she maybe broke one of the rules by announcing that she's cousins with one of the performers. It's not like, you know, she should have said, oh, I'm cousins with one of Peter Pan's best friends or whatever. She didn't use the right terminology. Maybe that's why she deleted it. Maybe she deleted it because she was getting called out for lying. Who knows? But let's hear her out.
I thought it would be interesting to hear it from a family member's perspective. This is so disturbing to me is because actors at Disneyland are not supposed to break character. The fact that almost all of these Peter Pans are breaking character, including my cousin, is disturbing. Why this is so scary, when me and my cousins found out that my cousin was Peter Pan, obviously we were excited. So we would go visit him at Disneyland while he was working when we were younger. We were told when we walked into Disneyland, you cannot say his real name. You cannot act like you know him, especially around other people. Vice versa, he cannot act like he knows us in any type of way. He cannot say our like that is to happen. They can get fired. That's the same reason why I'm not telling you which one is my cousin. The fact that all of these people are reacting to this woman's behavior is really disturbing. I wonder if you guys can guess who my cousin is. I'm not going to tell you in the comments, but make your guesses. Let me know your thoughts.
To be fair, I'm not sure any of them broke character. Because I'm sure, like, when they say you're not allowed to break character, I'm sure what they mean is, like, you're not allowed to be like, all right, mate, calm the fuck down type shit if you're Peter Pan. But little, like, micro expression changes in the face and stuff, there's no way realistically you can be scrutinized or fired or punished or cut like pay-wise for something like that. Girl, delete this, your cousin's gonna lose his job. I don't know how true that is. I feel like a lot of this is just superstition. But maybe I'm chatting shit though, because she did delete this video. People are saying this, not realizing that this isn't the original account though. Are you sure that you cousin? Because I don't want lies. See, this is like reasonable here, because I'm wondering the same thing. Why would she lie about it, Sienna says? Well, oh, you sweet summer child. It's called views and attention, mate. Potentially even money. I really do wonder if she's lying or not, because there was no like new info in here or anything. It was just sort of her, if it is real, she was just sort of exploiting that familial connection to make a banger video, which I feel like is a little, it's quite funny to be honest. I really hope if this is real though, that whoever her cousin is, or any of the Peter Pans for that matter, aren't being punished for it, because that would be unhinged. Now this here is like a concrete example of what actual stalking or harassment or assault looks like. I'm gonna have to ask you to forgive me because it comes through the form of a very strange video.
The women who play princesses at Disney get harassed by men so often that Disney is building robots to replace them. If you play a princess at Disney, you stay in character no matter what. One performer said the word no isn't in your vocabulary.
Like, I don't know why this guy is doing this weird grisly voice with some really ominous, like, insidious music in the background. I can't tell if the voice is AI or if he's just really hamming it up. I can't help but think that he's over-exaggerating the facts of what you're allowed to say no to. But again, that could just be me being overly optimistic and hoping for the best. Well, I would imagine no, not allowed in your vocabulary is like an insane rule for any company to have. So maybe they were being hyperbolic just to sort of get a point across. I'm not blaming the sort of voiceover man for that, by the way. They're clearly quoting from something. Are Disney building robots of the girls specifically to avoid harassment and assault, or because it's for some other reason? Because I feel like maybe Disney might say they're doing it to prevent harassment, but in reality it's just so that they're more believable and it sort of bypasses human restrictiveness or like limitations that only humans could have, really. Like, you can't really have a human Olaf. Like, an animatronic Olaf would be a lot more believable, I guess. With the princesses themselves, I just don't know. I don't think they're actually, I really don't think they're that altruistic. But again, maybe I'm just being a negative Nancy.
Grown man hands you his hotel key and tells you to meet him there. All you can do is smile.
There's no way that's true, though. There's no way that's true. Surely you're allowed to report that. Or if you've got like a handler next to you or around you, surely they're able to be like, all right, mate, you're fucking coming with me, and take you back around the back or something and like curb stomp your ass. There has to be like a code word or something that you're allowed to say if you're uncomfortable. Obviously Peter Pan's different because he's a roaming character. He walks around, there's no one assigned to him, which that's a potential ramification, like a potential remedy maybe, to have someone assigned to the roaming characters as well to prevent stuff like this from happening. But the characters who do like meet and greets and stuff are surrounded by people who can help out if things get bad. So if someone does some horrific shit like that, surely there's something that can be done about it.
Man wrapped his arm around a princess for a photo, slid it down, and cupped her chest. The second he left, she was shaking and crying.
See, this here, fucking actually disturbing assault. Like, there's no excuse for any of these behaviors. Like, these men are disgusting, decrepit, deranged monsters.
The guest got his hands under her cape while she stood there alone, and she had to keep smiling through it. She reported him, but nothing happened, and he was allowed back in the parks as long as he brought a chaperone. So
yeah, I mean, the thing is, you'd hope. Unfortunately, harassment and assault in the workplace is not taken seriously universally, but you'd think a company as big as Disney and making as much money as Disney would have the ability to remedy that better than most others. I've got a friend working like 6 days a week, like 10-hour shifts every day, and in the break room, her fucking manager came in one day and was like, oh, you look like you need a hug, let me give you a hug. And when she was like, no, I don't want a fucking hug, she was like, no, actually, that's not what happened. He goes, can I give you a kiss? You look like you need a kiss. And then she goes, no. And then he's like, oh, just a hug then, just a hug. And she's like, no, I don't want a fucking hug. And he just sort of walks up to her, does it anyway, and then tries to give her a kiss as well, like on the lips, as she's like hugging him reluctantly. And then when she reported him, it was a matter of, oh, well, we can't really do anything, but if you want, we can get rid of your shift where you're with this guy. And it's like, well, then I'll lose half my fucking shifts and I won't make nearly as much money as I'm making right now. So essentially, she would have got punished for it because there's no cameras in the break room, I think, which is definitely why he pulled that shit move there, by the way. It's just sad to see that shit like that also happens in Disney.
There's already a free-roaming animatronic that walks on its own and plays a character with no one inside. It can't be groped or propositioned, and it never has to smile when a stranger's hand goes where it should. The safest princess Disney can build is the one that was never a person, and they're already building her.
Love this comment, by the way. Don't forget, women do it too. Yeah, cheers. Good one, Jordan, mate. But then here's where it gets ridiculous. Here's where I actually get a little bit annoyed. I feel so bad for the Peter Pan actor. Oh my god. It's like, don't even mention her in this. Don't even mention the Peter Pan shit in the same breath as the examples brought up in this video. Look at this one. Don't forget the Peter Pan woman. It's like, how out of place would it look if this guy's video was, this girl got fucking groped on the job, this girl got propositioned for sex on the job, and then this guy was like spoken to for a couple minutes too long on the job. These stories don't belong in the same fucking video. You're deranged. You're horrible people. If anything, the fact that we are hearing way more of the Peter Pan situation right now, as opposed to these actual scenarios of genuine harassment and assault, baffles me. Well, actually, no, it doesn't, because I understand why. The Tony girl is a much easier target. Reminds me of the Peter Pan incident. They truly don't get paid enough. You fucking suck, dude. I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. I don't know how anyone sane in their right mind could even, like, be reminded of the Peter Pan situation after hearing the fucking examples presented in this video. It baffles me. A boy cosplaying as Peter Pan got harassed for 10 years every weekend by a girl chasing him around and not letting him do anything. That's not what happened, you idiot. You're making it up. Clearly, what she's doing can't be that horrible if you need to make shit up to make it seem worse. She hasn't been chasing him around for 10 years. There are a couple videos where he runs away, she doesn't get the hint and sort of skips after him, and the interaction lasts a couple minutes longer than it's maybe supposed to. Let's not over-sensationalize it, especially when that on its own is worthy of criticism. It's fine to say that shouldn't be allowed. You're making them uncomfortable. That's kind of shitty. There should be safeguards put in place. You should know better. People should be telling you that you're making him uncomfortable. But when you make stuff up purely to strengthen your point, all you're really doing is showing how unconfident you are in your point, and also showing how fucking horrible you are and that you're a liar. And that you don't actually care about the situation or protecting victims or anything of the like. You just want an excuse to bully a mentally challenged woman online. Just to be clear, by the way, this video here that I've just shown you is like really AI and sloppy, so the examples that they're showing, as the guy talks about, you know, the guy putting her hand under a Disney girl's cape and then being super uncomfortable, the pictures he's showing I don't think are any, like, they have no relevance to the actual stories he's telling, but the stories themselves are real. I have checked them. Just want to make that absolutely clear for anyone who might be confused or shouting at me behind the screen right now. There's also quite an infamous video of Gaston being harassed on the job that I didn't know about before this, which is funny because it's super viral. For me, this is my mind. This is what I feel as though they are allowed to do, but it's not spoken about enough. This is like, everyone talks about how they can never break character or whatever, but I feel as though if you do feel actually fucking, like, the boundaries have been crossed to such an extent to where you feel as though the only appropriate action is to tell them to fuck off, you can just tell them to fuck off.
Out! Leave! Leave!
See, maybe it helps that Gaston's character is sort of just to be a huge arsehole anyway, but this is not Gaston being a huge arsehole. This is a man who is not consenting to being touched unconsensually. I mean, by definition of not consenting. Like, this girl is doing a shitty thing. If someone's not consenting, or someone you haven't asked, or they're not okay with it, then you shouldn't touch someone without making sure they're okay with it. It's that simple, right? Especially in this manner too. Like, if it was a hug, that might be different. Because what separates this from what Tony is doing to Peter Pan is that this is clearly like a bit more suggestive of a touch. Like, it's very much a, ooh, look at me with this big sexy man, get a photo with me, it's so like hot right now type shit, whereas Tony is very clearly just trying to be friendly. I'm not saying it makes what Tony's doing okay, but it makes what this lady's doing right here worse. It makes the reaction a lot more understandable, if that makes sense. Like, this is a totally valid reaction to being touched unconsensually in that way.
Under no circumstances is it acceptable to ruin someone's life because they like Peter Pan a little too much. I cannot stand this subgroup of people who get obsessed in this like very morally superior way, right? Like,
yeah, that's it. That's the worst part. It's this fake pseudo-moralism that a lot of them come into this shit with, where it's like, God, look how horrible this person is. I would never do something so bad. I'm a great person. I love Peter Pan, and I respect boundaries, and I respect consent, and I respect knowledge, and this girl right here is fucking scum of the earth for not being nearly as altruistic as little old me is. Because that is the energy that so many people are coming in with. And then they find any excuse to... And like, look, here's a great comment here. A man just killed himself because of the public pile-on. Please stop bullying people. Like, these are real fucking things that we really need to take into consideration here. And here's the thing. I'm not saying don't comment on it. I'm a fucking commentary channel. For me to make that statement would be wildly hypocritical. But what I am saying is, have your conversations about it. You can talk about whatever the fuck you want online. But please, I'm practically begging you, just be a little bit more thoughtful or responsible, or think over what criticisms you have. Think over what you're sensationalizing or making up in order to make your point seem stronger for the sake of making it more exciting, maybe. And before you put something out there, really think about it, because the second you put it out there, there's a high chance you'll be too stubborn to walk back on it. Whereas if you think about it enough before you put it out there, maybe you won't have as much to regret. If you're a stubborn person and you know you're a stubborn person, you better fucking really think about shit before you put it out, because you might end up backing yourself into a corner that is impossible to defend and you're just unwilling to die on.
and I I'm an adult who understands. I get it that adults aren't supposed to be too into Disney. Like, it's so performative. Like, you're just like, this person's bad, so I can do whatever I want to them. Where is your morality, right? Even let's say your delusion that this girl is stalking Peter Pan is true. You think the proper punishment is this? Public ridicule? The proper punishment is Disney just removing her, and she's not even doing anything to be removed. And that's it.
I agree. I think banning her or removing her from Disney would be way too harsh of a punishment. She just needs a stern talking to from someone who she respects their authority. I think that's the appropriate reaction here. A worker or someone needs to come out and be, hey man, you're getting a little too physical, you're standing about a little too long with Peter Pan, just relax a little bit. And I'm sure she would, I'm sure she'd accommodate to that. It's just for some reason, no one's ever fucking done that. And it's done now, like the internet will never give out on her. It doesn't matter how much she potentially does improve or potentially does hold back on the weirdness or whatever the fuck people say, it's done. People will never let out on her now. It's the same thing they're doing with Lily Tino, it's the same thing they've fucking done with Tyler Catastrophe. Like, the way that people treat others online is disgusting.
You guys always overdo it with punishment. And that is the reason why people won't ever be accountable, right? Because the crime never fits the punishment. So I too would never admit to anything. If it means that I'm gonna go through months and weeks and years of fucking internet hate. Leave the girl alone. Don't watch her shit. Ignore it. Stop making think pieces, especially bigger creators. Y'all should be so ashamed of yourselves. And this happened with Tyler Catastrophe, happened with that big girl who got stuck on that mountain. It's always random fucking creators that'll get on here and spread literal fucking lies. And then when it happens to y'all, you're shaking, crying, and fucking vomiting. How many creators have I seen? When it happens to them, they're like, guys, misinformation.
She's right. No, she's bang on. This is one of the best videos I think I've seen in my life, actually. It's like complete bullying masked as activism.
Oh my god, and also pick your fucking battles. This shit, I'm sorry. I'm on my fucking rant right now. Pick your fucking battles. I don't care. Like, at most, if this has been true, she still hasn't crossed any threshold of actual harm. She's just a little weird. And let Disney handle it. It's okay. It's actually okay. This is what you want to fucking spend your time doing, harassing another fucking random person on the internet, and everybody giving her an autism diagnosis. Maybe she is fucking autistic. It's like a half and half thing. Because they'll be like, oh, she's autistic, so, and then someone will jump in, well, don't use that as an excuse. Nobody, first off, autistic people are infantilized, but they are not given grace.
True! Oh my god, fucking, I swear to God I've not seen this video, but this girl is being tremendously fair right now. One thing that's always confused me about the infantilization of people with disorders or like the criticization that I am infantilizing people with learning disabilities or neurodivergence or disorders or anything like that. It's like, don't infantilize these people. It's like, a lot of the time we have to infantilize these people. If that makes sense. Like, if you give a 35-year-old man with a learning disability a guardian because they're not fit to, like, take on the world on their own, can you say to the guardian, hey man, I really don't appreciate how you're infantilizing this person just because they have a learning disorder. Hey man, this 24-year-old girl with the brain of a 13-year-old girl should totally be allowed to have sex with anyone she wants, despite the fact that so many men out there are gonna try grooming her because of the fact that she is of age, but is of the mindset of someone who is much younger. You know, normal people would say, yeah, I think we should prevent that from happening by making sure she's taken care of properly. But there are genuinely a subsector of people online that would go, no, that's infantilization. Treat her like the adult that she is. It's like, no. People who are atypical, people who are abnormal, people who are neurodivergent do need to be treated differently, especially if they are particularly far along the spectrum or in high need of like outside or third-party support, which I've been told is a much healthier alternative term to the term low and high functioning. So I'll work on that. Thank you for letting me know.
Children, famously on this planet, not given much grace. So I don't even know what y'all are talking about, but it's like, even if you have an inkling, right, that like there could be a reason behind this, give the grace and fucking back off. Oh my god, I had to make this video.
Yo, big up this creator here, as told by Indy. Go show this woman some fucking love. Help feed DC. She's got on her link tree. It's a donation form. I'm donating $1,000 right now. That was a fucking amazing video, and I respect her so much. Took the words right out of my fucking mouth. I couldn't have said it any better myself. I'm donating it now so I don't forget. Done. On that note, nice wee happy ending to end the video on. So as always, hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I will catch you all in the next one. So yeah. Bye. And you know what? Why do I keep saying so yeah at the end of the videos? I need to really, I'm a fucking professional. I need to stop. Let me redo that, right? But just give me a sec. Right, we're back. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and... Jesus, I'm hot. Right, one more time. Thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to... You know what? Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.